What's up, YouTube? We all have this, well, not all of us, most of us have this personal law that we are addicted to, a thought that we're addicted to, that we abide by, because we got to remember that we are creators and we are creating this whole circumstance. So when we create a law like such, like if someone says nothing ever works for me or whatever the case may be, like I can't do this because of my skin or can't do this because of that, then we really got to realize that this law is holding us back from life in general, but from another level of energy, because people fear the unknown and people fear the known in different cases. But I'm just saying that this law that we have, that people have created and manifest for themselves, they will do whatever they can to make it the truth. And as the creator, it will become true because you're creating the circumstance. Like if you say, I can't do this because of this, you'll put yourself in circumstances that make that true. Self-fulfilling prophecy, somebody would call. It's just like you create the whole circumstance. Everything in your life, you picked your parents and everything, so you can look at it like you're enjoying the experience, or you're not enjoying the experience because you created the experience ultimately. And really the greatest detox, see, this is what when it comes down to relationships, when people collide like this, a lot of the problems are going to stem from pre-birth through the birthing process, that whole thing. Those problems, it could stem from the way you were handled if you were cesarean. I was cesarean. If you were handled, or like I say, circumcision, vaccines, if you had jaundice, if you had all these different things, they all mean something. Those are all diseases that you attract, or certain things that we attracted from our thinking from before. And again, you can consciously die or unconsciously die. And if you do, you think death will relieve you of this thing, of these thoughts, but it won't. You will just recreate the same circumstance on that frequency that you were on. And the whole thing will repeat. So when two people collide, they have this spark of love and admiration for life and each other, and they bring out, and basically love itself pushes out anything. It purges you of anything that is not like itself. So two people might truly genuinely love each other and love each other's presence and all that, but everything will start to surface that is not of love that is within them. So that's why people go through these rough periods after that honeymoon phase, or whatever they want to call it, that point of ecstasy, even though life is ecstasy itself. We go through this phase where everything just becomes more and more hard to stay together, because the love is purging everything out that is not love, that is not of love. So it's all coming out, and the two colliding people, all the toxins, all the toxic thinking comes out. So when you get involved with anyone in general, business, relationship, friendship, whatever the relationship is, you need to know the personal law, if there is one. You will know if someone has one or not. It's all about the limitations that you set on yourself. And then since you create that law, you create a reality under that law, under that government, because your cells are under the government of your thinking. So you train every cell in you to abide by this law that you've created. And the greatest detox system will be love. And the greatest way to get to that, not even in a sense of looking for it outside of yourself, because love is always felt within, but the greatest way to get to that is to breathe in practices. It's all, you can look at it like the breath of life is love itself. And to stifle the breath is otherwise. So you got to look at it. You can look at it like the body or beastly part of you will try to defy God or the self to the point where it thinks it can even die. It will trick itself to that point just to maintain a law of death. Because people have associated God with dying. This person died, so it was part of God's plan, or all that. Instead of associating God with life, or self with life, the concept of God is so skewed in itself, instead of being one of love. So I guess since people have a super positive sense, in the duality they seek to create an opposite to that, a devil or whatever, when it's all within you, and it just becomes repression. You repress the adverse side of you, or whatever you want to call that shadow part of you, the darkness, which can be good or bad, because you might have a talent that you say, oh no, I can't do that, so it gets suppressed and repressed. Or you might have a thought that it's not very complimentary, so you'd be like, oh, I got to suppress that or repress that, instead of just letting it flow through you. And yeah, instead of just being whole, people would rather be right or correct than to be whole. It's silly.